that affects more than 20,000 Americans. Take part in the Fargo-Moorhead Walk to Defeat ALS on Saturday, June 3rd at Urban Plains Park. You can even walk your way wherever you are. Proceeds benefit the ALS Association, which provides care and support while researching treatments that can help lead to a cure. For more information and to register, visit walktodefeatals.org.
Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand.
She's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again.
I promise you, I'll protect you.
Weekdays at 12 p.m. You're watching WDAY Extra. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Is
Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
Good Friday morning. This is You Better Have Air Conditioning, a ready edition of Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls Live at Inforum.com on the second day of June 2023. Ready to barrel roll into the weekend. The pools are opening up. There is no in-between in this part of the world. There really isn't. I'd rather get 9 months of winter. Literally a month ago today, there was still snow on the ground. And now we're in the middle of a heat wave. It's the way it works around here, apparently, because we're about to stare at our, fourth straight day of 90. We still got, 4 more to go. Old man rad is over, but goodness gracious. Can't we have just a 75-degree day and have it be nice out? That's too much to ask, apparently, around here. Welcome to our show, everybody, on a Friday. Hope everyone's excited about the weekend. It's certainly going to be warm out there. And for those that are attending any state tournaments that you already, especially on the eastern side of the state, endured enough yesterday. You know what, Eric? We gotta play this video that Ryan Spitzer from the Forum got yesterday, because our guys, Kyle Strecker and Michael Jeffs, were out in it from Fargo Davies. This was at the state soccer tournament. Look, I've never seen this before. Look at the net. That is the soccer net literally being whisked off the turf. That's a tent that's rolling over. I mean, this was at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I mean, it got nasty for a little bit out there, which caused delays for everything that was happening in town, whether it was soccer, whether it was baseball out in West Fargo, and softball up at NDSU. This that blew through in the late afternoon, early evening, caused delays and havoc. As it were, the tournaments were completed, at least for soccer and for baseball. Baseball didn't get done. I've never seen that before. I've never seen that happen. The soccer balls are blowing away. That was scary stuff yesterday. Anyway, Class A baseball did finish. It didn't get done till well after 11 o'clock last night. The final game with West Fargo and Jamestown, with Jamestown winning, not allowing a hit. They allowed a run, but didn't allow a hit. Soccer got completed. Long day for our guys that were there yesterday. Softball did not. So they are going to finish the final game of the quarterfinals this morning and then play the rest of the tournament as scheduled. So West Fargo and Century are going to play their quarterfinal game here in about an hour, and then they'll play the consolation games and then into the semifinals coming up later today. So, Yeah, we might be in store for that again coming up this afternoon. That was bizarre. Anyway, we got a lot to get to today as we are ready to leapfrog into the weekend. NBA Finals started last night. We'll show you that here in a second. Stanley Cup Final begins tomorrow night in Las Vegas with the Panthers and the Golden Knights ready to drop the puck to determine who's going to win the NHL championship. And a bunch of college baseball as the NCAA baseball tournament begins today with all 64 teams set to play. You know that weather will somehow be a factor there. And the Women's College World Series rolls on. That actually was delayed by weather as well. They were only able to play 3 of the 4 opening games, and they'll have to come back and play Utah and Washington, I think, playing at noon today, and then they'll have the elimination games coming up tonight. So Mother Nature wreaking havoc all over the sporting world. Let's begin with the Minnesota Twins back home last night facing the Cleveland Guardians, opening up a big 4-game set after they took 2 of 3 against the Astros. Could they keep the momentum going against division rival? Big series here, knowing, Cleveland's under 500, but this is when the Guardians turned it on last year, was against Minnesota. Game started eerily here as Royce Lewis, I saw the play and immediately my heart went in my throat. I'm like, oh boy, here he is trying to make a play, fell awkwardly, and you're just thinking, God, seriously, it's going to happen. I mean, look at that divot. You don't even see that on golf courses anywhere. That was a monster of a divot that came out of there. Guardians took advantage. They played the first run to go up 1-0 on Pablo Lopez through an inning and a half on that opposite field single. Twins offense started to come around, though. But then this happened. Byron Buxton takes one right in the guts. And that's not good. Mired in his slump that he is, gets beamed in the ribs, of course, came out of the game after that. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that could not have hurt. Later in the inning, Max Kepler with a base hit to right. That'll plate Alex Kirilloff. That gets the Twins on the board here in the home half of the 4th to tie the game up at 1. Same score into the 5th inning. Michael A. Taylor keeps hitting bombs. This is just nothing I thought would happen. This is already his 7th home run of the season. That put the Twins up 2-1. They kept it going in the 5th inning as they got to Cleveland starter last night, Tanner Beebe. This with a runner at third. Kirilloff comes through, beats the shift with a base hit. That would score Christian Vasquez. Makes it a 3-2 game. And the way that Lopez was pitching, 3-1 game, the way that Lopez was pitching, you think this game is over. But then everything fell apart in the 6th inning. It was already now tied at 3. Josh Bell goes the opposite way. That would score Jose Ramirez. It's now a 4-3 game. Later in the inning, Mike Zunino goes to the left side. That would score 2. All of a sudden, Cleveland plates 5 in the inning and goes up 6-3. Lopez didn't give up any hard-hit balls either. Twins, though, weren't done. Donovan Solano comes through in the bottom of the 8th inning into the gap in left center. Willie Castro comes in to score. Twins are not out of this game. It's 6-4. Our guy Lewis comes up. Already had a clutch hit, you remember, on Monday. Smashes this to the deepest part of the park, 421 feet for a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning and ties the game at 6. Another monster moment for Royce Lewis. He's been up in the majors for all of 4 days, and it's been 2 huge hits for him. Bottom of the 9th, Twins have loaded the bases. Castro up. The always exciting sacrifice fly to right to score Ryan Jeffers, and the Twins come all the way back and beat the Guardians last night, 7-6 in a walk-off. They've now won 4 of their last 6, have the Minnesota Twins. Lewis with another big-time hit. Griffin Jacks gets the win in relief after Lopez was cruising and then had that rough 6th inning. Should not be forgotten is Emilio Pagan, who has been raked over the coals, myself included. 2 1/3 innings, 1 hit allowed. He was really good in relief last night. Not pictured, you saw what happened to Buxton, was Carlos Correa leaving the game. His plantar fasciitis again, an issue. This is now a bigger concern for the Minnesota Twins. Obviously, each of them have struggled to hit, and now both are hurt again. That if they're relying on Royce Lewis to carry the way, that's a tough beat. But they got the win last night to take the opening game of the set and put the Guardians now 4.5 back. The Tigers remain 2.5 back since they won. And you see how the AL Central race is. I mean, you know what? You got to beat them because Cleveland, there's only a certain amount of games now, and the Guardians seem to play really well against the Twins. That happened again last night. You know what their record is? They'll catch fire here. That's just how Francona's team works, even though they're 6 games under 500 right now. Game 2 of the set comes up tonight. That's an Apple TV special. We're going to get into the TV situation because there is news to report on that. Bailey Ober will start tonight. Aaron Savali will go for the Guardians. You see the numbers on Ober, who's lost his last couple of starts. Savali, a mark of 1-1 on the season with a 2.84 earned run average. Again, that's an Apple TV Plus special for the Twins and the Guardians coming up later today. Good win last night. Fun game. Those are the games you got to win against a division rival. And what else do you say about Royce Lewis? I mean, he's been in the majors all of 4 days. He's already collected a game, 2 game-tying hits so far in his 4 days here. And both of them have come in clutch situations. As they say now, high-leverage situations. The hit in Houston came with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 9th inning on Monday. Last night, 2-run home run comes in the bottom of the 8th inning. I got to check if there was 2 outs on that one. Either way, it was a clutch spot where he has delivered both times for the Twins. Again, I don't know how much you want to be relying on him. Now, there was 1 out in the game last night when he hit the home run. Either way, it was in the bottom of the 8th inning. His team was down 2, and they needed it. Good win. Fun game last night as the calendar is now moved to June. Speaking of fun game, I can't say that's how we describe Game 1 of the NBA Finals last night with Denver and Miami opening up in Denver. The Nuggets making their first appearance in the NBA Finals after 9 days off. They swept the Lakers, seems like it was 2 years ago, facing the Miami Heat, who, of course, just got there. Won Game 7 on Monday against Boston. And, boy, the Nuggets, again, have showed you they are a different team when they play at home. And for the casual fan that got to meet Nikola Jokic last night, you got the full experience. And you got the full experience of what the Nuggets can do. Look at that. Just tic-tac. Jokic forces the steal off the big handsome on Cody Zeller. Nifty feed from Aaron Gordon for an easy lay-in for Jokic. That's what they do. They built a 17-point halftime lead. Miami started to trickle away here in this game in the third quarter, but it was a rough shooting night for their studs. Jimmy Butler was held to just 13 points in the game. They've cut it to 13. Kyle Lowry knocks down the 3, the ageless one, as Lowry had 11 points last night. They got it to 10, but then, again, Jokic just is tremendous. He has a triple-double last night, a triple-double in his NBA Finals debut. The Heat hot this three-pointer. That got it down to 9, but every time that Miami got within single digits, there's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope knocks down the long 2. Lead got up to 12. Then Joker does this. I mean, I don't know. You can't stop that. And the Nuggets win Game 1. The best part about this was Joker pointing to the finger there, looking for the ring. 104-93, the final score last night in Game 1 to give Denver a 1-0 lead in the series. Jokic for the triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists. Just another casual night. His 9th triple-double already of the playoffs. The Nuggets have remained unbeaten at home. Nice nerd stat that Eric threw in there. That's the first time in this postseason that Miami has lost Game 1 We mentioned it yesterday. They had won Game 1 on the road in Milwaukee, Game 1 on the road in New York, Game 1 on the road in Boston. They do not do it last night. So, 1-0 lead for the Nuggets. Game 2 coming up on Sunday night. Earlier start. It'll be a 7 o'clock start on WDAY in Game 2 as the Heat will try to get the split before the series shifts to Miami for Games 3 and 4 coming up next week. Real quick before we wrap up our opening segment, and we're going to talk more about this later in our first hour. I got an email into the inbox yesterday, and the headline was Vikings transaction. I'm like, oh, here we go. Dalvin Cook is going to be done. Vikes are going to make a move. Instead, it was announcement of Ben Ellefson's retirement from the National Football League. The Hawley, Minnesota native who announced yesterday that after 3 years and some injuries that have besieged him over the last few years, just said that this was enough and was ready to move on to the next phase of his life. And he got to live out, I think, a dream of his, playing for his home state team. He wrote yesterday, everybody's story is different. I'm proud to say I've given the game of football everything I have. Injuries are a big part of the game, and although they are a big reason for me moving on, I am fortunate to be in a spot where I can still walk away from the game as a player, ready to tackle whatever is next in my life. This guy, one of my all-time favorites. I've known Ben since he was a sophomore in high school at Hawley, and to see him become the football player he was in high school, where he was unstoppable. And any Heart of Lakes football coach will tell you in 2013, 2014, there was no stopping this guy. There just wasn't. And then to see the amount of Division I schools that were interested, including Purdue that came in late to offer him, and he had already committed to North Dakota State. And then to see him pretty much bide his time as a Bison in 2015, 2016, started getting on the field in 2017, and after that, he became one of Easton Stick's and Trey Lance's favorite targets in his final 2 years in 2018 and 2019. He finished his collegiate career with 16 receiving touchdowns, which I think is 6th highest in school history. He played in 16 career games in the National Football League, finished with 4 catches for 36 yards, had a couple against the Lions in a game this season that you just saw. I always feel he got gypped a bit because his NFL draft lead-up was in the heart of COVID in that winter, early spring of 2020, when the combine happened and then everything was done. There were no pro days. There were no visits. None of that could happen. And we had Ben and Derek Tusk, I remember, on our show then, and it was tough sledding to get any sort of info out there. The teams had video guys, but there was no interaction outside of Zoom and stuff. Because would he have been drafted? I don't know. I think he would have wowed at Pro Day. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He ended up still signing a deal with Jacksonville, played his first year with the Jags, ended up catching a 2-point conversion against the Chargers in the same game that Easton Stick ended up playing, which I thought was crazy. And then, of course, spent his final 2 seasons with the Vikings and was plagued with injuries over the last couple of years, and I don't blame him one bit for stepping away. We're going to visit with his high school coach, longtime, legendary, Hall of Famer, Peder Naatz will join us coming up later on in our show to reflect on what Ben meant to Hawley, what he still means to Hawley, and a remarkable career that is now done. And with that said, we can tease our guest lineup. We mentioned the Hawley head football coach, Peder Naatz, will join us coming up at 9:35 to reflect on is got to be one of his top players he's ever coached in just a few minutes. At 10 o'clock, Dustin Maasjo will join us from Minot, head baseball coach at Central Cass. The Squirrels got a big win yesterday. First time in 3 years, the Squirrels, who've been to state 3 years running, representing Region 1, at the Class B baseball tournament get out of the opening round. I don't know if he probably doesn't need me to remind him on that, but now they get a date with Thompson coming up later today. Seems fitting. I think this is like the third or fourth different tournament this year that Central Cass and Thompson have played one another in a state tournament. We'll preview that coming up at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, Logan Campbell will be back with us, as she usually is on a Friday, to wrap up the week. And, of course, we've got our questions ready to fire away before we say goodbye for the week coming up later on in the show. So that's what we got coming up. We'll take a break. We come back. We have some resolution on the Diamond Valley Major League Baseball fiasco. We'll dive into that when Hot Mike returns on a Friday morning after this.
Who let the dogs out? Laney's has, and the 2-for-deal special is back. If your furnace and air conditioner are over 10 years old, it's possible they've gone to the dogs. They're more prone to roll over and break down, and they're also a lot less efficient. Let Laney's help you fetch a free air conditioner with their 2-for-deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a qualifying Coleman high-efficiency furnace, you will receive a Coleman air conditioning unit free. Call Laney's for details. The dog days of summer will be here before you know it.
828 is just great. On the next Tamron Hall 4-time Grammy Award winner, Kelly Rowland is back with the Tam Fam. Kelly seemingly can do it all, and now she's a judge on a new singing competition series, the first of its kind. And we're catching up with Kelly. You'll flip out over her Sunday pancake tradition with her adorable boys. Then it's the video being shared around the world. A 12-year-old girl springs into action to save her brother's life. We'll meet them both next, Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Breaking news, the latest weather, and live sports delivered straight to you. Watch the news leader, WDAY News.
Recreational marijuana in Minnesota comes after years of advocating.
News you can trust from the most experienced team in the region. On and off the field with expert coverage and analysis.
Swung on and missed. Oral Roberts is the Summit League Tournament champions.
WDAY News.
True craftsmanship takes time. Starting in the field, to the distillation and perfect aging. Creating the perfect spirit is hard work. Selecting it? That's easy at Happy Harry's Bottle Shops.
Please use our products in moderation.
I think what makes Touchmark special is how you feel when you walk into Touchmark at Harwood Groves. We often hear that it's like a North Dakota hug.
I think it's the people that make Touchmark special.
One of the things that makes Touchmark is the caliber of the team members here.
You could ask them for anything, and they'll say, we'll take care of it.
Every day that we walk in these doors, we really take time to listen to each other, to listen to our residents, and to be there and to be a friend.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day we encounter people who are having the worst day of their entire lives.
Does it get any easier?
Nope.
It takes a certain kind of person to run towards danger rather than run away from it.
Why is this job so important to you?
Growing up, I never saw any heroes who looked like me.
And that's what a hero looks like.
Help is on the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. He asked all his therapists to help him undertake some of the house chores. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
Welcome back, everybody. Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. WDAY Extra, KSFL TV in Sioux Falls, Inforum.com. Great to be with everyone on a Friday. Peder Naatz joining us from Hawley in just a few minutes. Talk about Ben Ellefson's legendary career and stepping down and retiring after 3 years in the National Football League. Okay, story we've been following all week. And it's not going to end today. I'll tell you that right now, because there's going to be more on this as we go forward. But yesterday, the federal judge in Houston finally made a ruling after 2 days, and I'm talking angry testimony, that Diamond Sports Group, who owns all the Bally regional networks, including Bally Sports North, said that they have to pay the Twins, the Guardians, the Reds, and the Diamondbacks what they owe. That they must make their payments. Which means Bally must pay Diamond Sports Group, the Twins, nearly $55 million in the contract that they agreed to, which was 12 years ago, that expires at the end of this baseball season. The judge also added, considering it got nasty, that he urged the two sides to talk. That doesn't mean that that's going to result in a deal, but he urged them to speak with one another. So what does this mean? It doesn't mean that Diamond's going to pay, because we know what happened just a couple days ago, that the Padres were supposed to be paid by Diamond, Bally Sports San Diego. They opted not to, and they were off, and MLB started producing the games. And this could very well happen now with these teams. From the Star Tribune story, under bankruptcy law, Diamond Sports now has the right to ask the court to terminate the contracts, since the networks say that, with the possible exception of the Guardians deal with Bally Great Lakes, they lose money by televising those teams' games. Termination returned the broadcasting rights to the teams, and Rob Manfred has committed Major League Baseball to producing and distributing broadcasts of affected games if that happens. We already know, obviously, that has happened with the Padres. And now, I mean, it was really interesting. I was watching the end of the Twins broadcast last night with Cleveland, and they mentioned, okay, we're not on the next two nights, and we've talked about that. Apple TV has the game tonight, and then it's a nationally televised Fox game tomorrow night, Saturday night. So the next game that they're supposed to do is Sunday. Whether that happens is still anyone's ball game right now. We really don't know if they're going to do this. And we started this up. I tweeted about it last night, and then I got a bunch of people asking me, well, okay, what happens? Am I still going to be able to watch the games? And the answer is yes. The games are still going to be on. They're just not going to be on the spot that you find them now. And then I had a handful of people who asked, hey, I stream the games I haven't been able to watch yet. Am I going to be able to do that? And the answer is yes. That's the one positive out of this, is that for streamers or people that get their television through YouTube or Hulu, you'll be able to see the games now, because the blackout is done on that, which I think that's a huge deal. So for those that have YouTube TV, Hulu, they'll be able to watch the Twins games if it goes down this road. I don't see them doing this. I just don't see them picking this up and doing it. The CEO of Diamond characterized the rights fees owed to the four teams involved as well above fair market value and asked the judge to reduce those fees by at least 20%. Dave St. Peter, the president of the Twins, testified that Diamond, in an effort to negotiate a new 5-year contract earlier this year, offered to pay $54 million for 2024 with a 1% increase each following season, basically undercutting their claim that the current fee is unfair. There's a lot of numbers thrown around here, and I think for the average fan, they look at this and like, okay, what does this mean? I can tell you that it means I would try and pay attention as best you can, because I can't sit here with good conscience say that the game is going to be on. I mean, Dick Bramer could even tell us that when he was on the show on Wednesday. The games are going to be on. Whether they're on Bally, that's up for grabs right now. And literally, I think the Padres had a 1 day's heads up from Diamond that, hey, we're not doing this. That's how I read that I think they knew Monday. It was announced Tuesday, and their first game MLB produced was Wednesday. So here we sit on Friday morning at 9:30, and it could. Here's the fascinating part. The other team affected is the Guardians, who the Twins are playing. So it very well could affect Cleveland maybe before Minnesota. We know the Diamondbacks and the Reds have been involved in this with Bally Sports Ohio and Bally Sports Arizona. It's really interesting, folks, for those that watch their sports on television, especially here locally, because this is something that's going to have to be worked out for the Wild and the Wolves as well. Because the biggest question I had is who's going to be doing the games? And we know that Dick Bramer is going to do the games with whoever, because they are employees of the team. Bramer's told us that he is an employee of the team, not of Bally. As far as the other people around it, the reporters, the pregame, postgame, sideline, I can't speak to that. I think they're Bally employees. I do not believe they're employees of said teams. But it gets messy there. Like, for our own situation, because I have people ask me this all the time, like, why don't you wear more green? Well, I'm not an employee of North Dakota State. I'm an employee of Foreign Communications. You know, we carry the Bison games, but we don't work for North Dakota State. Here, it's a little more tricky on the professional side. You know, there are some that do work for said team, while others work for the network. That's where it gets murky and hazy on this. And I did not watch the Bally Sports or the San Diego Padres broadcast outside of the game, because I knew the same announcers were doing it. I don't know about all the pregame and postgame stuff. That could get murky on this if it comes down the road. But that's the deal. The judge sided with Major League Baseball. Diamond must make its payments to those four teams, the Diamondbacks, the Reds, the Twins, and the Guardians. And if they don't, then those rights will revert back to Major League Baseball. And those are healthy rights. Baseball wants all of the rights. They want to control that. To maximize the revenue, especially the streaming side of that, because they can see where that's going. They're trying to maximize as much money as possible there. We can dive into this if we have some more time before we go. Let's take a break. When we come back, saluting the great career of Ben Ellefson with his high school coach. Peder Naatz will join us about this talent that emerged out of Hawley, Minnesota, all the way to the National Football League and the Vikings. Hot Mic continues on a Friday. We're back after this.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job, for the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
There are places, people, and conditions in this world that almost seem beyond hope. But not when Mercy Ships is there. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, normalcy to the deformed, beauty and happiness to the outcast, and joy to the brokenhearted.
And many times you can almost see the life coming back into them. Can't beat that.
Mercy Ships is the largest floating civilian hospital in the world, staffed with some of the most skilled volunteer medical professionals and crew. Mercy Ships is the reason why hope is now in sight for those who need it most. To learn more, go to mercyships.org today.
I'm Tyne Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report. Join me right here each weekend as we explore the news and issues that matter most to agriculture. We know each year farmers and ranchers are thrown challenges, but as agriculture continues to adapt, we are right there with you. From markets to weather, we take a deep dive into what matters most to agriculture and rural America.
Saturdays at 6 a.m.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfilled. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on here on a Friday morning, WDAY Extra, Inforum.com. Dustin Maasjo will join us from Central Cass coming up on our second hour. Squirrels got a big win yesterday in the opening round of the Class B baseball tournament out in Minot. They will play later today against Thompson in a Class B semifinal with a right to go play for the championship. Once again, those two teams playing in a state tournament. We know they matched up in girls basketball. I know they played in one other as well. Just those two teams seem to find one another when we get to postseason play. Hopefully, Peder Naatz is going to join us in a second. I know he was traveling today, but hopefully we can get that hooked up here in a second. On Ben Ellefson. And, you know, there's certain players when you cover them, especially in high school ball, that you watch coming up the pipe, and you're like, boy, that, you know, A, this kid is twice as big as everybody else. Second, he's got hands like nobody else. And his ability to get on the field, make plays, both offensively and defensively, I think people forget that, was second to none, really was. And when he really started to come into his own, which was his junior year, I mean, they had some games, and Brian Strand will be the first to tell you that, Barnesville, long-time high coach. I mean, there was no stopping him. There just wasn't. I mean, and Barnesville teams weren't chop liver then. I mean, they played a couple of section championship games. They played one, I want to say it was 2013 at the Fargo Dome. That may go down as one of the best in 8AA ever. And they've had a couple of good ones up there, at least in my time. But that one was one of the very, very best. And both teams went crazy. Brian's son, Michael, was amazing in that game. Went on, of course, to some pretty high accolades. He's still, the numbers here are crazy of what he did in high school. 100 catches, 1,872 yards, 28 touchdowns in his prep career. Not bad. Also rushed 107 times, 884 yards, and 17 touchdowns. My math's not great, but I think that's 45 touchdowns that he scored. He was also the defensive MVP. Had 128 tackles in his senior year, 13 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. Other than that, he didn't do too much on the football field. I mean, he was okay out there. I think hopefully we got Peter. I don't know, we're trying to.
It sounds like we're almost there.
There we go. I think we got him. What's up, man? How are you?
Technical difficulties. I had to download the Zoom app on my phone that I crushed and had to replace this early winter.
You're traveling, I heard, correct?
Yes, we're on our way to Roseau for a section track meet.
There you are. I love the old 8AA. You got to travel all the way to Roseau. Well, first, just give me your first memories. First time you saw Ben, whether it was JV or 7th or 8th grade. Like, was it something that was different that you knew right away about him?
Well, yeah, I really didn't see much of him until he got to junior high, but there was a situation where he was a man among boys when he was just a little kid. And it was, didn't matter what sport it was, basketball or football. He was in control of the situation, and it remains that way as he's in the control of his situation right now.
Give me your first time that you were going to bring him up to varsity. What you like that you remember the game or first instance like he made an impact for you on the varsity team?
Well, yeah, he was a freshman, and after the first 2 days of practice, we knew he needed to be on the field in the starting position as a freshman, and he was, and he did, and it just continued to grow and expand from there. I did catch a little bit of what you were talking about with when he was a junior and really took off, and mentioning Brian Strand in those Barnesville games, but he's just the greatest thing about him, though, is his humility.
Yeah. You know, did I have that year right? Was it 13 or 12, the section championship game up at the Dome with you guys that was just amazing?
Is that when he caught one, threw one, and ran one?
Yes. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he was, I believe he was a junior then.
Okay, so 13, if I remember right then. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of moment to me, and I'm not a great football mind, I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be some colleges that are coming. When did that start? Was it then? And when they really started coming in, tell me what you remember about your reaction about when some of the heavy hitters started coming to Hawley.
Well, we were kind of waiting for it to start, and when it finally did, then it kind of just became a tidal wave. Coach Vegan had been out several times from NDSU, and before that, for years before that, and he's like, that's okay if you don't have anybody right now, but we just want to have an in, want to be familiar and be a friendly face when you do have someone.
Yeah.
And then when we finally did get someone, and with the name of Ben Ellefson, then it really opened the doors, and it opened our eyes a lot too, because he had gone on he'd already had a basketball scholarship offer from Augustana as a sophomore. And he liked basketball, and he thought about playing it, but his true love at that time was football, and he was kind of holding out, waiting for something like that to happen. And he took a ride to Purdue, and I think he went out to Wyoming to see Coach Bowl when he and Brent Vegan took off out there, and he ran through a pretty good gamut of recruiting trips and things like that. And man, being the kid he was, I think it came down to being close to his family and to be close and be near and sharing all the it was.
The whole thing with Purdue, how real was that? Do you remember? Because I remember when they started. Okay, this was late in the game because he had already verbally committed to North Dakota State, if I remember right at that point. What do you remember about when Purdue got interested? Oh, we may have lost him here. I know he's driving, so hopefully we'll get him back here in a sec. The crazy part about that, at least my recollections on it, were that he had committed in the summer of 14, prior to his senior year, much like how commitments work now, and that there was some significant buzz then coming from other schools that were definitely interested. They were in the mix, but he had already committed, and he held firm on that he wasn't gonna waver on committing to NDSU, despite the fact that a Big Ten team had come in and wanted him to play football there. That was
I got him again.
Okay. Sorry, we got him back. Hey, I was asking how real was the Purdue scout? Like when they came in, do you remember that? And what was that situation like?
I do, and he had verbally committed.
Yep.
I don't believe he'd signed yet, but had committed, and it was not an official trip. So they bought plane tickets and flew out to Purdue, and he was like, I don't think I even knew before he went, but he came back and said, yeah, we snuck off and went to Purdue. It was a shot at a Big Ten school, and a kid who wants to play college football and has a dream of being in the NFL. If you get an offer or an opportunity to play in the Big Ten, you have to explore that. Yep. And that was kind of their mindset. They did that, came back, and he had a cousin that was, I think, playing basketball out there or was on another athletic team at Purdue. And so they snuck around the campus and did a few things and met with a couple coaches on the QT, like they like to say. But it turns out that he was going to be a Bison.
Peder, when he made it to the national, I know you've been on the show a few times since he made it to the NFL, but when he became a Viking, how big a deal was that in Hawley?
I think it was a huge deal in Hawley. One of our own ends up in the biggest show that you can play on that biggest stage, and everyone was just excited, and then we had chills and we got the goosebumps and everything with that, and it's just been so much fun to follow him and see the success that he's been able to generate and achieve just based on his work ethic.
What's it meant for your current guys to see that the guys that you still coach now, that one of your former players not only played Division I football, then made it all the way to the National Football League?
Well, I think they understand that it's possible, but they also know how much work it takes. And we've had a revitalization in our weight room and our work ethic regarding the weight room. And Ben has a lot to do with that. He hasn't been here in person necessarily, but the example that he set and what he's been able to achieve by that work ethic in the weight room from junior high through his professional level, that's where it's at. And you have to have that commitment for it to translate into action on the field.
Before I let you go, I know you have plans here today. I remember the day he signed with Jacksonville, how the whole town came out right after the draft. What was the news like yesterday that he was going to be done?
It was a surprise to many.
Mm-hmm.
He had called me about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, and just said, "Hey, my time is done. I'm beat up. It's injuries." He goes, "I can still walk, I can still do things, but I'm not healing up the way I need to heal up, and I'm giving it everything I can." So it was kind of a difficult conversation, only because you felt bad for the kid, and you know how much work he's put into it, and what a future or what a career, a longer career in the NFL can mean for what your lifestyle is going to be like. But there are no worries for me. I don't think there's any worries for anybody about how Ben Ellefson is going to turn out.
One of the all-time greats. There's no doubt about it. By the way, I didn't properly introduce you here. Now, since you haven't been on the show since you're now a newly minted Hall of Famer, do you sign your checks with HOF next to it now? Do you do that?
No, but a couple of my obscure obscure online accounts, I do have HOF in my password.
Well, in all
nobody knows that, though.
In all seriousness, though, congratulations. And what did that mean when you got the call from MSUM that you were going to be inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame?
That was a big night. Coach Fortune called me from. Said, "Hey," I looked at my wife. I go, "Coach Fortune, what the heck?" And some of my teammates been Resny saying, when am I going to get my opportunity to step in there? But and I thought, well, maybe this is it. But it was an emotional night, kind of the climax to a career. Pretty cool stuff, I guess.
That's fantastic, man. I know you got to roll. Safe travels up to Roseau today. Thanks so much for doing this, and we'll talk again this summer, okay?
All right, sounds good, Don. Appreciate it.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Peder Naatz Hawley, head football coach, joining us on the road today as he's heading up for a section track meet in Roseau, reflecting on the great career of Ben Ellefson, who announced yesterday retiring from the National Football League after 3 years. Our hope is to actually have Ben on the show next week. We're working on that. Hopefully we can do that sometime early next week, talk about his decision to step away from the game. We'll take a break, wrap up hour one. Dustin Maasjo, Central Cass baseball coach, coming up in hour two. We'll do that when Hot Mike returns on a Friday morning. We're back after this.
Wake up, everybody! Welcome aboard. The Real Love Boat hosts Rebecca Romaine and Jerry O'Connell share their love story.
We met on a website called farmersonly.com.
It's so embarrassing.
And will there be rocky seas during a classic game night?
Love and baseball.
Plus, a tasty taco night for any night.
That is a cute taco.
Next, Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY.
Midwest Kid Fest is Friday, June 9th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Island Park in Fargo, with the Teddy Bear Parade kicking off the event at 10:30 a.m. Midwest Kid Fest will feature live music and entertainment, including Penny and Pal's final show. Enjoy games, inflatables, a petting zoo, and new this year, a sensory-friendly area. All activities are free of charge. Midwest Kid Fest, Friday, June 9th. Find out more at fargoparks.com.
You got lots of money over here.
I want to go for it.
So do I. Let's do it.
You bet your life.
Give me the money. More money. $5,000.
Boosting the economy.
You seriously asking me this question, Jay? Coney Island. What are we doing over here?
Every weekday.
Yeah, give me that money. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it to you like an Italian uncle. Here you go. You get yourself a little something there. There you go, right there.
Weekdays at 3:30 p.m.
This is a murder mystery of epic proportions. You get this picture of a jealous guy, thinks she's got a lover, and bang, she's dead.
What possessed you to do that?
Could this be a murder for hire? When you've got something that was this bad, somebody's got to pay.
Dateline.
Weekdays at 1 p.m.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The truth is, Parkinson's disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them. Worldwide, over 10 million people are living with Parkinson's, a neurological disease that affects movement. And with so many places to search for information, it can be difficult to know where to begin. The Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Answers for everyone in the fight. We can help you understand the disease, help you find expert care, give you tips for living a better life, share the latest research, help you find local support, and there's a free helpline you can call. Find your answers and join us in the fight against Parkinson's. To learn more, please go to parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
There is a road laid out for me.
Boxes everywhere. And this is going to be Addie's room.
I am blind.
You really don't like it?
I hope so. Yeah. I know this road is there for me. There is a long way.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
The way it's down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
I got this.
I know this road is there for me.
Okay.
If I'm really free, take me down to the river and wash me. Oh.
our first hour here on this Friday morning. Our thanks to Peder Naatz for joining us. I looked it up, by the way. It was 2012 was the game I was talking about at the Fargo Dome between Hawley and Barnesville in the 8AA section championship game. Because we were in the midst of doing First Down Friday, as we always still do. And I remember because we're in the midst of North Dakota playoffs as well. And I was actually live up there. I had Strand and Naatz on our 6 o'clock news that night to make sure we were going to preview the game. We were going to do this up big, knowing full well what was at stake. And it turned out to be, like I said, one of the all-time great high school football games I've seen in person. And we were on, I think we were on late that night too. So we got the whole game, we got the finish on. It ended up being a 38-34 Hawley win that night. And again, one of the all-timers that ended up happening that season. The ironic thing is, because they did not play during the regular season. Now they end up playing twice a year if they end up coming to pass. But they did not play during the regular year. Hawley was unbeaten all the way. They lost in the opening round of the state tournament that year. It was either Bold or Moose Lake Willow River. That was the two teams that always end up getting Hawley, biting them sometime down the road. But that game, that 8AA game in 2012, yeah, I just found the forum story on it here. I was looking for it. They were down 20-6 at halftime was Hawley. Had 32 points in the second half to rally and win the game. Let's see. Yeah, this is what happened in the game. Michael Strand, by the way, was a heck of a football player who ended up playing at MSUM. He ran for 183 yards and 4 touchdowns and threw a 64-yard touchdown pass. This is what Ellefson did in the game. He had a 60-yard touchdown run. He caught a 90-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Harms, who was a pretty good athlete in his own right, and then had a 1-yard touchdown run. That's what you heard what Naatz was talking about. I got to find that game. We'll post that online here later. Amazing in that game. Wanted to share that, though. One of the all-time greats up at the Fargo Dome. It was, like I said, it was 20-6 in favor of Barnesville at halftime. It's crazy. It was 34-26 going to the fourth quarter in favor of Barnesville, and the Nuggets scored the last 2 touchdowns to win 38-34. Outrageous. Just for our guy, Kyle Strecker, I saw this, Eric. I just sent the video through. Last night, Angels are playing the Astros, right? Our guy, Ben Joyce, never heard of him until a couple days ago, came into the game facing Yordan Alvarez, who was the World Series MVP last year for Houston, right? Joyce can hurl it. He threw 3 pitches. I think we got the video. 3 pitches he threw last night against Yordan Alvarez. 103 miles an hour. Should be there. 103 miles an hour. 101 and 102. He threw those last night in the game against the Houston Astros. The guy is a machine out there. Crazy that anybody can throw the ball. There you go. Crazy he can throw the ball that fast. There's 103. I'm not sure what Alvarez is supposed to do with that. Here comes the next one. Right? All right. I'm behind in the count 0-1. All right. Well, I heard he can throw it fast. Let's see what he can do. Oh, there's 101. And just for good measure, because, well, threw it already that hard. Let's see what he can do. He threw, by the way, the fastest pitch in college baseball history at 105. So it's not even as hard as he took something off here. That was only 102 on that one. Old strike him out, throw him out there. Crazy. Wanted to make sure for Kyle we got that in the show. Again, look at this. This is sinkers in the first inning. Sinkers, not a fastball. 102, 100, 102, 101, 102. You just get out of town with that. I don't know what you do with that. Wanted to make sure for our guy Kyle, we got that in the show here today. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll head to Minot. The Class B baseball tournament continues. Central Cass will see a familiar face in the semifinals later today. Dustin Maasjo from the Squirrels will join us. We start hour 2 right after this.
On the next Cameron Hall, 4-time Grammy Award winner Kelly Rowland is back with the Tam Fam. Kelly seemingly can do it all, and now she's a judge on a new singing competition series, the first of its kind. And we're catching up with Kelly. You'll flip out over her Sunday pancake tradition with her adorable boys. Then it's the video being shared around the world. A 12-year-old girl springs into action to save her brother's life. We'll meet them both next, Cameron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
In this job, you take your eye off it for 1 second. People can die.
Go now!
Don't think, just do it.
Get her out.
Here we go.
Hey, slow breath.
I'm a firefighter, and I will always be a firefighter. Did a great thing today. It's all because of you.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. and 12:05 a.m.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in North Dakota. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the NDHSAA.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
for clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way,
because your community
is our community.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Come on, babe, let's go outside and take that boat out for a ride. I'm ready, I don't want to wait. Get on board. Got the sunshine and the short line. It's a good life. Get on board, get on board. Get on board.
This is Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic, ready to rock and roll. Final hour of the week on this Friday. The busiest weekend for North Dakota high school sports. It's not as busy today, at least for us, as it's semifinal Friday all across the state in soccer, tennis, softball, and, of course, baseball. This is the Class B baseball bracket. Earlier yesterday, you saw Langdon area Edmore Munich win. They'll face Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion. Those are two baseball powerhouses. LLM's good in baseball forever. Number 1 seed Thompson got by Bishop Ryan, and they'll face 5th-seeded Central Cass coming up later today. That's the late game out at Corbett Field in Minot. It's our pleasure to welcome back to our show Central Cass baseball coach Dustin Maasjo joins us. I joked with him off air. He's been on our show the last couple of years, each time the Squirrels have made it to state. But you guys lost. So I said, let's talk to them after they win a game. So congrats. It was a typical nail-biter at the state tournament, a 1-0 win yesterday. Describe the win and how your team performed yesterday.
You know, two good teams. North Star threw out a good pitcher. We had Jackson Parker going. And boy, it was a battle. I mean, every ball we thought, hey, we hit a hard ground ball, a line drive. It was caught. It was fielded. I mean, both teams the same way. And boy, I said, we'll get more than one. We'll get more than one. Even talking with Coach Vogt from North Star, said I did not think 1-0 was going to win that game. I mean, it was just crazy. Both pitchers were on, and fun game though. Well, fun to watch. To coach is pretty nerve-wracking.
I know Jackson's dad has been on our show. He's a big Patriot fan, so I got to give him a shout out that his son was amazing in the game yesterday. That's all I'm going to say, because I know he comes on the show and loves to talk about the Patriots, and we're not going to do that. But just for the guys that you've had that have been to state each of the last couple years, describe the feeling in the dugout yesterday if this was over, to get out and hey, we're still playing. We're in the semifinals now.
Yeah, there's a few guys that have been on the last couple teams and stuff, but it was almost a relief, you know, the last couple of years losing in the first round. And then, we kind of looked at each other, some of us, and we're like, we just kind of, the shoulders went down, and we're smiling. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it was really like relief. Like, man, we played well, and we played well last year, and just it didn't happen. But, you know, seriously, just relief.
That's funny you say that, because the kids are 17, 18 years old, but there is pressure. You make it a couple years, you want to go out there and play well. And when it doesn't happen and you get a chance to go back, heck, to make it 3 years running, there are kids that would kill for one chance. To get there 3 years, I got to imagine it was probably more relief than it was excitement probably last night.
Yeah, and we've talked about that too. We talked about the experience, you know, enjoy the ride. There's a lot of teams in our region, good teams that haven't been there. And there's kids in our region that are some of the top players in our region, and they aren't able to go to state. And, you know, some of you guys have been there 3 years in a row, some of you 2, and some of you your first time. But you know what has really helped? Their professionalism. I mean, yes, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, but, you know, a lot of them been there, done that. I mean, state basketball, state football playoffs, you know, losing the championship there, winning the championship. Being in state Babe Ruth. I mean, there's just countless numbers of games that they've played at high levels and stuff, and high pressure. Nobody really panicked though. It's 1-0, you know, it's 0-0, 0-0. Then all of a sudden it's 1-0, and, you know, everybody's like, hey, we got to run. Now let's go get some more. And we never did, but I mean, nobody panicked. Yeah. It was just like nice even keel. Yeah.
So tell me, you feel the pressure on you to see, okay, you saw what happened with football, made it all the way to the championship game. Boys and girls basketball won. Now, okay, hey, you got to wrap up the year in style. The other coaches giving you a hard time about that?
You know, I haven't heard much. I think they were like, you know, just go try and win that first game, and then we'll see from there. But no, just quite a run. I mean, boys, girls, everything. I mean, state track, the girls won. Yep. Second year in a row and everything too. And, you know, it's just the program. I mean, the kids right now, you look at the kids, and there's a handful in both basketball and baseball, and a handful in football and basketball and baseball. There's not a lot that are in all three, but there's 3-4 guys that are in all three. That what year?
Yeah. I mean, that's remarkable to me. You make it, you play 3 separate sports, and you're in the state tournament, all of them. Or you played in the championship game in both of them. That is remarkable. That's something that can never happen again.
Yeah. And you look at our lineup and stuff, and we have some seniors, but a lot of juniors. So there's a lot of guys that'll come back for, well, football wise, basketball wise, and baseball wise. So, now the expectations are going to be a little higher. And like I said, the kids, there's so much pressure on them, but you don't see it. There's no panic in them. They just, like I said before, we've been there, we've done that. We've accomplished some things, and now I don't try and put a lot of pressure on them. When they make a mistake, we all make mistakes. I just say, move on. Next play, next pitch, just move on. You can't dwell on those little things. So
I was joking off the top, Dustin, that it seems fitting. Central Cass and Thompson are going to play. Obviously, they met in the girls' basketball state tournament. Does it seem fitting that you're matching up? If it's not kindred, I imagine Thompson is right there as a rival too for you guys that you're going to play here tonight.
Yeah, and I think back to a few years ago, State Babe Ruth in Watford City. This group of seniors, they were 14-year-olds. Last year's group, the 15-year-olds, we played them in the state championship out there and came up short. And we also faced them 2 years ago where were we? Botno. We faced them there too, and I think it was a 1-run game or something like that. And it's a mutual thing. Like a lot of teams, you're like, oh, we want to beat them bad because we don't like them and stuff like that, but not Thompson. I mean, they're good. We've been, pretty good. We've been fortunate and stuff. And it's a mutual respect. I mean, you see both, some of their kids know our kids and stuff like that, and the communication back and forth. And it's not negative. It's positive. It's, hey, you guys played hard and stuff like that. And you'll see that after the game, win, lose, whatever, they're going to be hugging, shaking hands and everything after the game. Just the mutual respect for both programs. It's amazing.
When you get to this spot, and you mentioned the relief of getting past, what do you think the emotions are tonight? It's just like, hey, let's go and play, see what happens. We know they're the number 1 seed. Let's just, we know them. Let's go out there and see what happens.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just the pressure's not on us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the 5 seed, we're the lowest remaining seed in the winners bracket. So I don't think there's a lot of pressure on us. I mean, the kids will put pressure on themselves and everything, but it's, hey, we won one. Let's go get another one. Let's go 1-0 today too. That's kind of been our mentality. Go 1-0 on the day and just, trying to stay positive with that.
The crazy part, you've played in 3 separate different baseball fields here that you made it to state. So now I'm going to put you on the hot spot. Which one's the best one? Which one do you prefer to have? If there was one site they told you, Class B, we're going to put it like the Dome is for football. We want to have Class B baseball where?
Boy, it'd be hard to leave Jamestown.
Okay.
I've heard, I think they're going to turf though. So
yeah,
I mean, you're going to play. That's the
That's
thing.
True.
You play at Newman. The eyes were big when we walked in there. The kids, they know, hey, the Red Hawks play here. It's a big field and stuff. We walked in here and everybody kind of went, wow, this is pretty neat too. But 3 amazing places that we've played. I would have a hard time. I mean, Jamestown's not Bismarck centrally located in the state, but it's they were talking. We were talking about the history of Corbett Field and stuff like that too. You go through some of these ballparks that have been around from the 1930s and 1940s, and Jack Brown and Jamestown and stuff. That's amazing. Just how lucky to play on such amazing fields and everything. So I would have a hard time saying no to Jamestown every year, though.
That's a pretty good vote. I like that one. It's hard to argue on that, but you are right. The amount of money that actually has been spent to renovate around for different parks has been impressive. To get Corbett did that, I know, in Minot. To get a tournament like this, they spent some money, and like you said, the guarantee with the turf you're going to play. And we were talking this off air. I was asking about the surface, that it's about as true as you get.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Just the hops yesterday, all season long. I mean, we get errors for hops that hop and hit us in the shoulder or over our head. The hops yesterday, I mean, ground ball to third, Eli fields it, throws them out. It's just true hops. Ground ball to short, Carter fields it, throws them out. I mean, it's just the true hops for both teams. They were doing it too. Their left side of the infield fielded balls through it, and it's just the true hop that it's not going to go left or right. It's not going to go over your head. It's just that surface is a really nice surface.
I think I ask you this every year, but I have to ask you this after this winter and spring. When was your first practice outside? You know what date you guys were finally outside?
Oh gosh. We weren't fully on our field. We went to Oaks and played like the last week in April, and we hadn't been on our field yet. Our first infield outfield, other than where we were on our football field and we took one, but that's obviously not a true infield.
Right, and you're on
field.
turf, right?
Yep. The infield is, you can make that realistic, but the outfield isn't realistic.
No.
Hitting cuts and stuff like that. So our first infield outfield was in Oaks.
Wow.
The last week in April.
If I were to ask you, there's talk, and this is just speculation, we would like to move the baseball season 2 weeks later. How would you come down on that?
Yeah, I think so. We had our baseball meeting this morning, and it was brought up.
Okay.
And just, hey, we would like to do this and stuff like that. Region 2 had talked about it, and I would support it. Now the problem would be the summer Legion program would get pushed back. The high school football season would get pushed back because they're, like I said, we have a handful of guys that are doing all of that, and that would be the major argument. I think it would be hard to push everything back 2 weeks. It would benefit us tremendously. We were in a gym for a month.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Even 2 weeks. 2 weeks gets. You can do 2 weeks, and the second week is not real fun. The first week is, hey, we're back playing baseball. We're throwing the ball. We're hitting in the cage and stuff, throwing off a mound inside. But then week 2 is like, okay, let's continue doing these drills and stuff like that. And by weeks 3 and 4, you're like, we played mat kickball one day. Just to liven things up. Talking with some other coaches, they were like, yeah, we played wiffle ball on Fridays. And, it's not true baseball playing in a gym. It's not even realistic. So, getting outside, being able to get on our football field and the softball field and stuff it helps, but it's not the baseball field.
Did you have any other support? Was there any other you don't have to name names, but were there other coaches that were supportive of that?
Well, so Region 2 had sent a letter. I think they said they sent a letter to high school activities about, they were all in support of it. Nobody really was like, yeah, we have to do this at this meeting or anything. It was just brought up. Just mentioned and stuff. And yeah, for me, I would support that, moving it back 2 weeks. And then I think that's what it would take is coaches talking about it and bringing it up and saying, hey, we don't have a season. What are we? We're 13-5 right now.
Yeah. You played for a month. Here it's June 2nd. I'm assuming you played your first game early May, right?
That last week of April.
Okay, so you played a month and it's done. I've been banging on this drum for a while, and I know one decision, there's another domino, and you hit it right on the head. Okay, if we move later, what happens with Legion ball? Do we have to move other fall sports back? By the way, I'd be all favor of moving football back because it's going to start practice on August 4th this year, which is crazy. That's when colleges are starting practice around here. I think it makes sense. It's not fair. It's just that we don't ask any other sports in the fall or the winter to do that. But the spring, it sucks. But you know what? You're going to have to do it. That's just not fair to me.
Yeah, and there's no real comparison. But I think of football when it's 90, 95, 100 degrees. They can't go on turf and they can't practice, so they go inside and stuff like that. But they're still okay. So 2 days of that. Now you get to go out, or you practice at 6 a.m.
Yes.
Or you practice at 8 p.m.
or 9 p.m. Right.
we can't do that. There's snow on the field. Yeah. We're not going to be able to. It's not the same comparison, and I don't see that anywhere else. So yeah, I like I said, I would support it, but it would take quite a bit of change because our guys they were at State Legion last year in Watford City. They had Wednesday off. Well, they had to get pads for football if they hadn't got them, and then start practice Thursday. And we got back Tuesday. So Tuesday, we got back from Watford City. Yep. Wednesday, they had off to get pads or whatever, and then Thursday they started practice. So
wow, man.
Yeah, they're lucky between football and basketball to have 2 weeks off. So yeah, it's been.
We're gonna rip a can of worms open on this if I go down this road, so I better stop now. Before we had you on, we were showing video of the Angels pitcher, Ben Joyce. I don't know if you've seen this guy who throws 102, 103, who throws 104. What, as a batter, what do you do? I mean, when do you start swinging on a pitch like that?
Well, I have no idea. I have no way of even understanding that, because when I played, there was nobody that was even close to that. But your fast twitch muscles better be, I mean, your eyesight, your everything better be lined up, because when it's coming, you don't have time to react.
No.
You almost have to swing in a spot and hope the ball is going there. I don't know.
You gotta hope you gotta hope that the bat and the ball find each other, right?
But boy, if it does, I mean, that's what happened yesterday. For us, that's how we got our one run.
Yeah.
I mean, their pitcher, he threw a fastball, and Eli said, I was sitting fastball. He hit it, and it went, and he stopped at second because he didn't know it went out. I'm like, it's gone. I yelled from third, keep running. He had stopped, and he looked like, what?
Oh.
And the umpires, keep going.
Well, that's
keep
fantastic.
going.
Well, in the game before you, because Delax Burlington was playing and Carson Yale was pitching, is he 6'7", 6'9"? How tall is he?
Boy, I don't remember from basketball. I feel like he was 6'9".
Yeah, I think he's 6'9". I mean, so
he was taller than Cole.
Yeah, so he's out there on the mound. I mean, what are you doing with a 6'9" kid that's throwing up there? Like,
boy, that's a tough question, because we faced him last year and lost 2-0 at state in the first round, and you know, he was on that all 7 innings.
Yeah.
That game. I think he was off just a little bit, innings 1 and 2 yesterday, and then after that he was back on, and they didn't get anything. I mean, they had 4 in the first against him and 2 in the second, and then 0. So I mean, just being off that little bit, and I think Langdon was expecting fastball, and they started sitting fastball and hit. So,
just the arm, the arm angle is the whole thing, right, Dustin? Where it's coming from, that's the part that makes it such a difficult thing for a hitter.
Yeah, and you know, the release point,
right?
You know, if pitchers will change that a little bit, you know, what you're trying to do is find that release point, but also if you can pick up the spin for a breaking ball. And yesterday, North Star's pitcher, he had late break on his, and we were having trouble picking up that breaking ball. You know, when it starts breaking a little bit earlier, you can see that spin, but boy, we were struggling to find that, and there was a lot of breaking balls that were in the dirt swinging misses yesterday.
Before I let you go, you're going to be on that turf. Are you wearing shorts? Can you wear shorts out when you're coaching third, or what's the deal here?
You know, we were just talking about that. We might be the only, like, Coach Mavis and he coaches first and I'm at third. We're about the only ones that actually had full uniforms on. Everybody else had like a pullover or whatever. Yeah. Boy, the game before us, 2 of the coaches had long sleeve pullovers, and I'm like, I'm sweating standing here watching this game. How are we gonna, and I'm not even on the turf.
Yeah.
Got on the turf, and you know, it's nothing like 2 years ago when we were in Jamestown.
Yeah. I remember. Yep. Yeah.
It's not like that.
That was 105, wasn't it? It was something absurd.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, I remember, and I keep telling our pitchers and the catchers and stuff, stay hydrated. Yep. I remember Brendan threw the one game, and he had 1 bottle of water per inning, so he had 7 bottles of water during that game.
Holy cow!
And was like still thirsty. I mean, that's how hot it was.
Oh man!
So I keep telling them, hydrate, even on the turf. It's hotter on the turf, but it's not like it was 2 years ago.
It's great to catch up, bud. Congrats on the great win last night. Good luck tonight. We'll talk again soon. Okay.
Thank you, Dom. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, bud. There he is, Dustin Maasjo, Central Cass baseball coach. Squirrels and Thompson coming up. That's the second game in the Class B baseball bracket. LEM, LLM, alphabet soup game for Game 1. Highlights of those coming up on our news tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm glad to see that at least, I know they all watch Hot Mic, that at least there is conversation about the baseball season and when to start it. That warms my heart to none degree. That just go for it. I understand there are other pitfalls that come from it, but it just a month is not a season. That's all I'll say on it. We're due for a break. We'll take one now, get caught up on a couple things, including our buddy Darius Shepard heading back to the National Football League. We'll do that when Hot Mic returns on a Friday morning. Back after this.
Stay prepared for the days and nights ahead with the best weather team. Download the Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Get alerts and updates straight from the WDAY Storm Tracker team. With accurate weather reports specific to your area. Just search WDAY in the Apple or Google Play Store. Download the Storm Tracker app and be ready to plan your day. The Storm Tracker app, powered by Laney's. Download it today. Breaking news, the latest weather, and live sports. Delivered straight to you. Watch the news leader, WDAY News.
Recreational marijuana in Minnesota comes after years of advocating.
News you can trust from the most experienced team in the region. On and off the field with expert coverage and analysis.
Swung on and missed. Oral Roberts is the Summit League Tournament champions.
WDAY News.
For 70 years, you've invited us into your homes as the most trusted source for news in the region.
That's why we continue to work so hard to keep you informed, providing more news today to more people than ever before.
We're the longest operating locally owned news station in the region.
And that's all thanks to you.
Thank you for making us the most trusted. Your voice for 70 years.
The news leader, WDAY News.
My son had a full-blown asthma attack. It came out of nowhere.
The unsettling thing about some symptoms is you don't always know what's causing them.
He had a reaction triggered by cockroach allergens.
Threats to your health can come from unexpected places. Get the facts. Visit pestworld.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
The end of hunger and poverty starts here. Your gift of an animal from Heifer International can help a family start a small business, creating food and income for education, medicine, and more, all while caring for the earth. At Heifer International, we help small-scale farmers achieve living incomes through economic development and private sector partnerships. We empower communities by creating women's groups, farmers associations, and cooperatives that strengthen social support networks. And we teach sustainable, earth-friendly agriculture that minimizes environmental impact and reduces the carbon footprint. Around the world, and right here at home. Heifer International. Learn more at heifer.org.
What would you give for a child you loved to make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. They can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
Welcome back, everybody. Our thanks to Dustin Maasjo for giving us a few minutes. Saw this almost like on top of one another yesterday after the news of Ben Ellefson deciding to retire. His former teammate is heading back to the National Football League. The Los Angeles Chargers announced yesterday that they have signed former Bison standout wide receiver, FCS championship game MVP, Darius Shepard, to a contract. Remember, we had Shep on the show back last month after his ridiculous season in the XFL, where he was named the Special Teams Player of the Year, had a league-leading 907 kick return yards, had 3 games of more than 132 kick return yards. He was second in receiving touchdowns with 6. Finished with 519 receiving yards and 48 receptions. I got an actual press release from the XFL. Life is complete. I got that yesterday from the XFL. And he ends up signing with the Chargers, which, of course, his old buddy, the guy who used to throw in the ball all the time, Easton Stick, is the backup quarterback. Remember, Shepard got a tryout with the Detroit Lions. We had him on right before he was heading to Detroit last month, and now is back with the Chargers. And we'll be interested to see how training camp goes here in about 7 weeks' time. Chargers may need another return guy. He, of course, excels at that. He has bounced around. I mean, this time last year, he's playing in the USFL with the New Jersey Generals, to what he did this past spring with St. Louis and the Battlehawks. And he said it on the show. I mean, you got to love the game and the itch to get back. And now he's done that. He's got a deal with the Chargers. Good for him. That's one of the cool stories. You'll love to see that. He's grinded it out from the minute he was done with his time at North Dakota State. I mean, he earned a tryout with the Packers, battled his way through there, got on the 53-man roster with Green Bay. I mean, that's the ultimate of underdogs to do that. To play in a couple years with Green Bay, has bounced around with teams from practice squads, which, as he told us, I mean, that's tough life. I mean, you're playing professional football, but it ain't easy. And, of course, what he's done over the last year with 2 upstart leagues playing in the USFL and the XFL to get back now to the National Football League. So good on him, and hopefully he's earned a little break, because he said it, and I asked him when he joined us last month. I mean, he's been playing football nonstop. The USFL season ended in, whatever it was, July, right before training camp. He went to camp last year with the Broncos, did that, bounced in a couple other camps last year, scout teams, and then signed with the Battlehawks. They started their season, what was it, February? That went all the way to May. I mean, so no one plays football year-round. He has for the last basically 13, 14 months. So congrats to him on heading back to the National Football League. Another guy we'll be keeping an eye on when training camp's open in about 6 weeks' time. We're due for a break. We come back. Logan Campbell will join us in our usual Friday slot. Lots to chat about there. Of course, we got our Friday quiz as well. We got some haymakers today. We'll come back on Hot Mic right after this.
On the next Cameron Hall 4-time Grammy Award winner, Kelly Rowland is back with the Tam Fam. Kelly seemingly can do it all, and now she's a judge on a new singing competition series, the first of its kind. And we're catching up with Kelly. You'll flip out over her Sunday pancake tradition with her adorable boys. Then it's the video being shared around the world. A 12-year-old girl springs into action to save her brother's life. We'll meet them both next, Cameron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
I'm Naheem Hines, running back for the Indianapolis Colts and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan, and I'm 12 years old. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
For over 70 years, MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
Federal investigators blamed human error for a deadly natural gas explosion.
We all remember where we were that morning.
We could actually see the smoke from our farm here, which is close to 20 miles away.
It started to pull right off the bat. Both tractors just kind of started to spin out, and those are big tractors. So I knew something wasn't right. Out of nowhere, I just heard a big boom. The tile plow ruptured into the pipeline. Once the gas got through the intakes of the tractors is when it ignited. As soon as I heard that boom, I started running as fast as I could. The ground literally started erupting from my feet.
They were highly respected and they were good at what they did. It was one of those accidents that, when it was done, made people step back and pause. If an accident can happen to them, it can happen to anyone.
Watch the rest of the story at 3secondslater.org. And remember, Farm Safe starts by contacting 811.
I've been doing this for a long time. Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
The world is changing. It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand. There's no stigma in coming forward. Please help me stop him.
He's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again. I promise you, I'll protect you. I'm not gonna stop until we find this guy.
Weekdays at 12 p.m.
Overcoming drug addiction was difficult, but I found the path to recovery that worked for me. Treatment helped me come to terms with the issues in my life that caused me to use drugs. And I found better ways to cope. Learning I had a substance use disorder helped me realize I needed to make a change. The road to recovery is different for everyone. There were good days and bad days. But I found strength in seeking help. My friends and family made a huge difference in my recovery. I never gave up. I found my path, and I keep walking it every day. Find the path that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
You know what? It's not my fault you're like in love with me or something. What?
Oh, no, she did not.
I hear her hair's insured for $10,000.
And we need someone there that knows what they're doing, obviously.
All right, Friday at 10:35, Logan Campbell joins us in studio. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Pretty good here. First Friday in June, ready to get out of here for the week. I got a couple things to get to first. More importantly, what are you working on? You got some good stuff that people can. You had Cody on because you filled in on Monday.
Yes, I had Cody on. He's always a great interview.
Before we get to Cody, the Sam Greasel deal is interesting to me.
That so crazy?
So he's going to do this. So he's going to go down the acting wormhole.
So he wants to do basketball first.
Okay.
So he is going to go over to Germany and try out for that team.
Okay.
And he said that he also has some workouts and tryouts for some NBA teams coming up. But if that doesn't work out, he does want to do acting. He said that surprisingly he really liked it. And I guess people told him he was good at it. So when he goes to LA, he's going to try and score some auditions while he's out there in July. So I thought it was so interesting when I saw he filmed the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? So as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay. And I knew I was hosting Hot Mic. I was like, I'm getting him on and I need to figure out what is going on with this.
Like you told me they wanted to do this earlier, the movie they wanted, and then they waited for him.
Yeah. So they originally were like, March, we need you. And he was like, I'm doing basketball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up basketball to audition for this movie. And they kept waiting and waiting. And I guess he had an agent. And the agent was like, Sam, like today, they waited for you till the very last day. They start filming tomorrow. You need to audition. So he did it and he got it. Like they said that he was like the perfect vision for what they wanted for that role. So, which is a villain, which is funny that they put Sam in that role.
Yeah.
But he said he liked it.
So he's playing a bad guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Which he said was fun because that's not who he is.
No, that's not him at all, really.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm excited to see that.
That's different. That's not the path, because I interviewed him a couple years ago when he got invited to go play for the German national team after his freshman year here, and he was and he played. Like, he's up there. Like, Germany's obviously not known for basketball. He was hopeful to get them qualified for the Olympics coming next year, because I think that was still on the tier list of goals. He wanted to play in the Olympics, which is the next year in Paris.
Right. So it's just crazy how many opportunities open up when
it's interesting. It's right.
Well, because he was blowing up on social media, so that's how they found him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And you had Cody. You had the heavy hitter lineup on Monday. You had Greasel and Cody Mount.
I was panicking because doing the show on holidays is tough because you don't know if you're going to get any live guests. So when I reached out to both him and Cody, I was like, we can pre-record something if you're not available.
Right.
And they both were like, no, let's do it live. So, yeah, I talked with Cody. He's always great. He's killing it down in Tampa like we suspected.
A month in here. So
yeah. Yeah, but he's been living in a hotel, which he said he doesn't necessarily like. So, but he'll be up here in a few weeks, he told me. So, yeah.
And then training camp begin. I mean, he's got OTAs next week, and then mini camp, and then a little bit of a break, and then life as a professional will begin right around the corner.
So crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of living in a hotel, I bring this up because the college baseball tournament begins today, the NCAA tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the regionals is in Kentucky, and I think it's in Lexington.
That's so funny you say that. I was supposed to be there this weekend.
Is that right?
I got invited to go to a concert.
Okay, that brings up because there's a big music festival there.
Yeah, Railbird Festival. Okay. I was supposed to go, but
none of the college baseball teams have any hotels.
Really?
They're staying in Kentucky's dorm rooms.
So my friends are staying in an RV park, and they're renting an RV.
What is going on?
So it's called Railbird Music Festival.
What is this?
It's a country music festival. So Zach Bryan, do you know who that? Oh gosh, you need to listen to him. He's like one of the best country music singers out there right now. So he's like headlining it. So it's a big deal. So many people are going, and my friends are
evidently
traveling.
Because none of the teams could get hotel room. Like they didn't. Well, they don't know ahead of time. Like the NCAA baseball one, it literally is. They decide that a few days out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who gets to host? So, and I'm assuming is this a yearly thing?
I think so. I don't know when it started. I think it started. It's a fairly new one. But I was trying to figure out with my friends, and I have
a 2-day music event with Zach Bryan. Oh, I know Weezer. Weezer's there.
Yeah, but that's not like one of the big ones. Tyler
Sheryl Crow's there?
Yeah.
I know her. Tyler Childers. I don't know who that is.
Oh, my gosh. He's another country singer. You need to listen to them.
I don't listen to country music.
Okay.
So.
Well, they're going, so they're trying to figure out how to get me there. Like, you can fly to Cincinnati. We'll pick you up from Cincinnati from where they live in Bristol. I think Bristol is where they live, which is like the border of Tennessee and Virginia.
Okay.
And then we can drive and get you, but you have a 16-hour layover. I'm like, this does not make sense, and it sounds like too much trouble for this.
So West Virginia, Indiana, and Ball State's baseball teams are staying in Kentucky's dorm rooms this weekend because of this concert.
That
which of course
is
you'd have some sort of
crazy. But that is such like a not fun, but different experience that they're gonna tell their kids someday. Like that's crazy that they're staying in a dorm room for an NCAA national tournament.
Not ideal.
No,
that's not the.
Hopefully they have
best way
AC
to
in
go
those
about.
dorms.
Right? Do you know today is National Donut Day?
No, but I don't like donuts.
I knew this.
Yeah. Except whenever we have donuts, I eat them because I'm so hungry.
How is that?
I don't know. I've just never really. I think it's because growing up, when we go to church on Sundays, we get donuts after because that was my dad's like incentive to get us to go to church.
I like that.
But I just never. I've only liked the sugar donuts, not like the ones with the icing on it, but like the sugar on the outside. But Duck Donuts, if you ever go to the East Coast, they're like
familiar
cake.
with them.
They're like cake.
Well, here's the thing. How do you spell the word? That's the thing that I always debate on this.
DONUTS.
See, that's how.
Donuts.
Because Duncan spells it like that. That's how. But you could also argue it's DOUGHNUTS.
That looks very wrong. And I don't think I know anyone that spells it that way. Speaking of Dunkin' Donuts, what do we got to do to get one out here? I know you don't like Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I know. Yes, I do.
I love Dunkin' Donuts.
I would fight for that to the nth degree.
I don't know why they don't have any here. And a 7-Eleven. I've been craving a Slurpee and a taquito from 7-Eleven for a month.
The donut thing is interesting because when I first moved here, Krispy Kreme was the biggest thing in the world, and that was like it just literally opened down the road from where I used to live. Like that was going to be the hugest thing ever, and it phased out here within like a year.
Which restaurant was this?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme's all right. Yeah. I don't like donuts. Donuts don't get me excited.
No, it's again. But else?
Krispy Kreme's only good when the hot sign is on.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Bagels is what I like.
But Dunkin' started they stopped. No, I'm not a bagel guy either. Dunkin' stopped making like 10 of the best ones. Like the best one to get there, literally, is the chocolate cream filled one. Literally, I had from the time I was 12 till I was 16. I might have had
Is that like a glazed one with chocolate on the inside?
No, it's powdered sugar on top and then chocolate cream fill on the inside.
If I was gonna have a donut, I would have a Boston cream donut. I like those.
Yeah, that's not bad. That one's all right.
And the kind with just the pure sugar on the outside.
The chocolate glazed ones are number one.
Are they?
Because they don't make at least I don't think they do. They don't make the ones I was talking about anymore.
Do they still make the Munchkins?
I don't know. I haven't gone in forever. Like, we have one in my hometown, but I don't get back home often enough anymore. I don't know. I took the Jackman when we went last summer, and I didn't see them there because I wanted him to
They
experience.
don't have the Munchkins?
I wanted him to experience having, because he likes having a donut with me, because we get the Edmonds ones now, which are my favorite.
The Munchkins are the best part.
I don't remember seeing them there.
That's sad. That's like a Dunkin' staple.
They've taken the donut out of Dunkin'. It makes no sense to me.
No, the coffee is the best part because you don't know if it's going to taste like river water or like actual coffee. Me and my sisters would go before high school. Yeah, it's either really bad or really good. No in between.
Man. All right, well, that kind of describes your performance on our game that we do each week. It's either really good or really bad.
I know.
It's either you knock it up, like last week, pretty good.
So inconsistent.
So with that,
oh gosh,
we ramped them up this week. I'm not going to lie. The last two of these are...
I told you I did not have enough coffee for this.
Well,
only one cup.
We're coming in hot because you're on vacation next week, so you're not going to be here. Then I'm going to be gone, so we're not going to be doing this for a little bit.
All
so
right.
I want to make sure we came in with some good ones.
So we got to
here.
embarrass myself before people forget, right?
No, I don't doubt it. Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready.
Okay, the first one's a layup. I think it's a layup.
Okay. So I'll probably get it wrong.
How many state tournaments do we have going on this weekend in North Dakota?
Okay. Softball, baseball, soccer, tennis. 4. Well, I feel like I'm missing one. Baseball, soccer, softball, tennis. But your face is making me second guess that. 4.
Well, there's 2 classes in baseball and softball.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we're like gonna do like the different classes.
There's 2 tournaments. Those are 2 more. That's 6. It's 6.
Okay, 6. I thought we're just being general.
No.
6.
It's 6.
Okay, there we go. 0 for 1.
All right, the next one is, I'm telling you, is tough. All right?
Why do you have to do this to me?
Because I'm interested, just because this is a fun game to go
And
down.
you know it's good when Eric just says good luck.
How many professional sports teams do not have a plural nickname? Like they don't have an S at the end of their nickname. Like your former team was the Washington football team. So that's what I'm talking about. So the nicknames, how many? You can name them off, the ones you think of.
Oh my gosh, all professional teams?
These are just pros. Yep, no, there's no college here I'm talking about.
Okay. The Heat is 1.
Heat's 1. Yep. We're off the air at 11 here.
I know. Okay, so the question is how many do not?
No, how many are there? Can you name
that have an S?
No, that do not have an S. Right.
Well, if we're gonna, for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do a random guess and say 6.
It's 12.
Oh.
Not counting the WNBA.
Do you have them all
WNBA
listed out?
I do.
Okay, what are they?
You got Miami. You got the Heat, the Jazz, the Magic, the Thunder, the Red Sox, White Sox, Avalanche, Lightning. You're going to get harassed here. Minnesota Wild.
They were in my 6. I did not list any of these out.
And then the Kraken.
Okay.
The WNBA has a bunch. You have the Atlanta Dream, Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, the Atlanta Fever, the New York Liberty, the Phoenix Mercury, and the Seattle Storm.
Is that also in that 12 that you...
Those are. I didn't count the WNBA on that because they have another 7. That would have brought it to 19.
I would have never got that right.
I find that as a fun game.
Yeah, no, that is fun. But if we had more,
seem like you had a lot
if
of
we
fun with
had
that
more
one.
time, you got to give me more than 10 minutes for these questions, so I can like process the way that I think, which takes a little bit.
But see, then it's difficult to write because you got to get your its and your there, and it's not a plural. Like I always struggle on like the Minnesota Wild. How does it go? Like the Wild had their power play ended, had its power play. It just sounds weird. It sounds completely
it's really
goofy.
Confusing. But that's like one of the things you learn is like the proper term of it's in there.
Yes.
But you forget about it sometimes when you're talking because it sounds wrong.
Okay. How many teams, last one, make the Baseball College World Series? How many make it?
A lot.
Not the tournament. They make it to the World Series, the part in Omaha.
Whoa, whoa.
Because it starts today. How many make it to Omaha?
The World Series. I want to say 4, but like the World Series would be like the last 2. But I know it's more than 2. I feel like. Is it 2, 4?
It's not 2.
2, 4.
Keep going.
8.
8. 8 is the right
8 was
answer.
going to be my original, but I was like, that's kind of a lot.
No, 8 make it, and then they whittle it down to 2 with
Okay.
double elimination there. So
I got 0 right
you
today.
got, that's, I told you.
I told you, I haven't had enough coffee. I only had enough for 1 cup left.
What?
So I knew this quiz was going to go
How
terribly.
many do you normally have before you come to work?
2 or 3.
And would you have a donut with it?
No.
You'd have a
We do
bagel
it
with it.
If I had a bagel,
Okay.
which I need to find a good bagel place here because you say bagel weird, Eric.
Yeah.
My favorite kind is an everything bagel with Taylor ham. Do you call it Taylor ham or pork roll? Do you know what that is?
No, you lost me on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so an everything bagel with Taylor ham.
I'm still trying to figure out the country people that you were talking about I haven't heard of.
We'll listen to them when you get upstairs. Taylor ham, egg and cheese on an everything bagel
All right.
with a vanilla iced coffee. That's my go-to order.
Oh, God.
Everyone's got to try Taylor ham or pork roll. I don't know if they have that here.
I don't think so.
It's like salty meat.
Okay.
It's good.
Well, put it on the to-do list around here. Have a great weekend and a great vacation. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Logan Campbell joining us here on her usual Friday appearance. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll get you ready for a great sports weekend and wrap up the show. Hot Mic concludes after this on WDAY Extra, KSFL TV, and Inforum.com.
Who let the dogs out? Laney's has, and the 2-for-deal special is back. If your furnace and air conditioner are over 10 years old, it's possible they've gone to the dogs. They're more prone to roll over and break down, and they're also a lot less efficient. Let Laney's help you fetch a free air conditioner with their 2-for-deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a qualifying Coleman high-efficiency furnace, you will receive a Coleman air conditioning unit free. Call Laney's for details. The dog days of summer will be here before you know it.
828 is just great. For 70 years, you've invited us into your homes as the most trusted source for news in the region.
That's why we continue to work so hard to keep you informed, providing more news today to more people than ever before.
We're the longest operating locally owned news station in the region.
And that's all thanks to you.
Thank you for making us the most trusted. Your voice for 70 years.
The news leader, WDAY News.
I've been a GH fan my entire life.
I love the Tam Fam.
I still think about the time I was at Port Charles.
I don't believe it.
But you can believe our shows are on back to back.
GH fans and the Tam Fam love a good story.
Weekdays at 1 p.m. and 2 p.m.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
For clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way.
Because your community
is our community.
When you or a loved one is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it can be tough to know where to turn. But the Alzheimer's Foundation of America is here for you. We've helped tens of thousands of people through our 7-day-a-week helpline, connected communities nationwide with information and support through our Educating America tour. And our telephone-based support groups meet weekly, providing assistance and support to families. We do it all because of one thing, you. Join us in the fight against Alzheimer's and donate today. alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.
Here it is. Look how cheap it is.
Go for it, Steph.
Be careful what you buy online.
It's finally here.
Counterfeit products are illegal. They are fake and can be damaging to you, your property, and your wallet.
It looks real, but I don't have a good feeling about this. Whoa, no, get out! Go.
Buying fake products can cost you the health of your face, skin, and eyes, or scar you for life. Real products are tested for safety. Buy the brand. Protect yourself. This message is brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
You're smart. Buy smart.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Go for real.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day we encounter people who are having the worst day of their entire lives.
Does it get any easier?
Nope.
It takes a certain kind of person to run towards danger rather than run away from it.
Why is this job so important to you?
Growing up, I never saw any heroes who looked like me.
And that's what a hero looks like.
Help is on the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
You got lots of money over here.
I want to go for it.
So do I. Let's do it.
They have decided to go for it.
You bet your life.
Hey, Kev, give me the money. More money. $5,000.
Weekdays at 3:30 p.m.
All right. Our show has come to an end for today and for the week. Appreciate all of our guests stopping by. Fun week of shows. If you missed any of them, come back and podcast at inforum.com. Our visit with the Ducher family, that was a lot of fun on Tuesday before they headed off for Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series. Alabama lost yesterday. They're back in action tonight. We'll tease that here in just a minute. Our weekly visit with Dick Bramer was good stuff this week as well. Had some info on the Bally Diamond debacle that's going on the TV side of stuff. So if you missed any of those, you can go back and listen to them from earlier this week. Andy Lundsetter yesterday from the bus, the Wahpeton baseball coach, was entertaining as well. His Huskies won yesterday. They are in the Class A semifinals coming up later today. It was nearly a clean sweep for the East in Class A baseball yesterday, and fun to see that. So they'll have a matchup with Cheyenne coming up later today. Mustangs going for a third consecutive state championship in baseball. And we'll have a full night of highlights on WDAY tonight at 6 and 10 with the 6 different state tournaments that are going on across the way. So, again, if you missed any of our shows, go back, podcast them, inforum.com. With that said, let's get you ready for what to watch here on a Friday. All righty. As we mentioned off the top, the Twins are not on Bally tonight, and it's not because of the ongoing TV discussions. No, this is an Apple TV game. So, again, for those that have already been down the rabbit hole on this, yeah, it's on Apple TV. So don't worry. They're not off the air yet. It's on Apple TV for Game 2 of the set with the Guardians and the Twins after Minnesota won it on a walk-off last night. Aaron Savali and Bailey Ober will be your starters for Game 2 of the series coming up tonight. As we mentioned, the college baseball tournament begins in about 5 minutes nationwide. Summit League champion Oral Roberts will play tonight in the Stillwater Regional as they'll take on Oklahoma State. That game is at 6 o'clock on ESPN+. This is a rematch of a game played earlier this season. ORU has beaten them a couple of times. As you saw the bracket there, they're in there with Dallas Baptist and Washington. All the games are streamed. So if you want to watch college baseball, you'll be able to do it. Some of the games are going to be on linear TV tonight, but everything will be on ESPN+. And there's a handful of teams that North Dakota State played this season. Arizona made the tournament. Obviously, Texas Tech made the tournament. Oral Roberts made the tournament. There's teams that they played. Texas, of course, made it in that you'll see over the next couple days. So that'd be interesting to see how Oral Roberts does. That's tonight, 6 o'clock, ESPN+. And from the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City, Stanford and Alabama. That's an elimination game, 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. The loser has their season ended. The winner will get to stick around. And how about this, by the way, a little shout-out. The next 2 days, softball will be on WDAY. That game with Oklahoma as they go for 50 consecutive wins on WDAY tomorrow afternoon. We got to roll. Thanks to our guests, to Peder Naatz, to Dustin Maasjo, and Logan Campbell. If you missed any of our show, you can podcast it later today at inforum.com. Everybody stay cool. Have a great weekend. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll see you back here on Monday on Hot Mic on WDAY Extra at inforum.com.
Own the outdoors with 11% off Master Force 80-volt power tools, delivering all the power of gas without the maintenance. This 80-volt brushless cordless pole saw is designed with performance in mind and is only $239.99 after rebate. The entire 80-volt line is powered by brushless motors for ultimate performance and productivity. The 80-volt brushless cordless self-propelled lawnmower is designed with power and performance in mind and is $529.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Wake up, everybody!
Welcome aboard. The Real Love Boat hosts Rebecca Romaine and Jerry O'Connell share their love story.
We met on a website called farmersonly.com.
so embarrassing.
And will there be Rocky Seas during a classic game night?
Love and baseball.
Plus, a tasty taco night for any night.
That is a cute taco.
Next, Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY.
ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a debilitating disease that affects more than 20,000 Americans. Take part in the Fargo-Moorhead Walk to Defeat ALS on Saturday, June 3rd at Urban Plains Park. You can even walk your way wherever you are. Proceeds benefit the ALS Association, which provides care and support while researching treatments that can help lead to a cure. For more information and to register, visit walktodefeatals.org.
Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. Keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Every crime scene has secrets.
Every victim has an untold story.
And within every mystery lies the truth.
Our job is to find it. The original true crime series, Dateline.
Weekdays at 1 p.m.
Happy Friday. While you were sleeping late last night into this morning, Tropical Depression 2 formed in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll track that for you, let you know what it's expected to bring, and if it strengthens into a tropical storm, what its name would be. I also have rain reports from yesterday's thunderstorms as we track more rain setting up for today, along with those toasty temperatures. One of us set a new record yesterday. I'll show you how toasty we got yesterday afternoon. And then pop-up storms do continue through this weekend. We'll walk through Futurecast to track those. WDAY News at 11 starts right now.